to a quad.
Talking about that because let's be real. On the old WNBA front, this is the most relevant the league is going to be for the next couple of weeks. Because we can be honest, during a couple of weeks, Caitlin Clark is out injured. Doesn't matter what happens. Does not matter what happens. No one cares.
The WNBA is in trouble again, but this time, it's not about bad referees or hard fouls. It's something much more serious. Coach Stephanie White's latest update on Caitlin Clark's injury has shocked the basketball world. The worry in her voice makes it clear that this groin injury might be worse than people think.
This groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back-to-back a factor at all with that?
I mean, I don't know if it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, she's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So
it's getting harder to ignore the truth. Caitlin Clark has been targeted physically all season, and now it's caught up with her. The WNBA's biggest star is injured, a setback no one expected, or maybe no one wanted to face.
Left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlin Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlin Clark might be going through something, salute to you. Clearly, you all saw what that person that stands there like this can't see. We all saw what was going on. Man, something's not right.
When Stephanie White spoke about Caitlin Clark's sudden groin injury, fans didn't get the clear update they wanted. Instead, the coach seemed surprised and unsure, giving vague answers that left everyone with more questions than before.
Reported yesterday, pain in the left groin.
it had to have been at some point during the day because they took her out yesterday, for the MRI. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until we heard from our training staff last night.
And with the MRI, did it show a strain or anything, or?
I don't. You'll have to ask her.
Late last night, Coach White shared something that shocked fans. When asked when she first heard about Caitlin Clark's injury, she said it wasn't until Wednesday evening, even though Clark had felt pain and had an MRI earlier that day. This slow communication isn't what fans expect from a professional team handling a serious injury.
Her back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. And then he rushed her back again. And then within rushing her back, she was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas surrounding that quad. That leads us to our most recent groin injury. I don't need a degree to think for myself. If you've ever been to the gym, you got some chest pain, next thing you know, you got some shoulder pain. Why? Because instead of using your chest muscle to do the exercises, you compensate and start using your shoulder too much.
What made White's press conference even more worrying was how often she admitted she didn't know what was going on. "I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until our training staff told us last night," she said. It gave the impression that the coaching staff was out of the loop about their star player's condition.
She's dealing with a lot herself, right? Stephanie White. Of course, she's missed, 2 games so far because of personal issues. So I don't necessarily know what her personal issues are. Hopefully it's nothing like DeWanna Bonner's. But nonetheless, she's dealing with some things of her own. So maybe it's a tad bit difficult to keep up with every single thing that happens with her players. And then, of course, she got this news late at night. So I don't know what time this could have been. It was posted early in the morning. So, she's probably just now getting into the facility and trying to figure out what's going on with Caitlin. Let me see the MRI. What happened with the MRI? They probably called her right before she can get all this.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. Caitlin Clark's current injury situation is raising more concerns than before, especially when compared to how her quad injury was handled. Back then, Coach Stephanie White was open and detailed, giving clear updates, recovery timelines, and helping everyone understand what was going on. This time, it's very different. The information is vague and confusing, leaving fans and the media unsure. The lack of clarity could mean the injury is either more unpredictable or possibly more serious.
When she says you have to ask our training staff, are any of us really going to get the opportunity to actually talk to a training staff member? I don't think that actually is going to happen. So like what Stephanie White is doing right there is basically saying, I can't tell you, even if I could tell you, it's not going to be announced through me. It's going to be announced just how they announce everything else. They're going to announce it through a press conference. They're going to announce it through a press release, a tweet with the information. These organizations are very private, especially with, the injury information, because people go crazy.
This injury didn't come out of nowhere. It's the result of months of physical abuse that the WNBA hasn't properly addressed. The timing is especially worrying, coming right after that rough game against the Connecticut Sun, where Caitlin Clark was poked in the eye by JCS Sheldon and blindsided by Marina Mabrey. Since returning from her quad injury on June 14th, Clark has been pushing through what feels like a nightmare. Her shooting has collapsed, hitting just 1 of 23 from three-point range in her last 3 games. Her 6-point game against Seattle, where she had more turnovers than points for the first time in her career, now seems less like a cold streak and more like a clear warning sign that was ignored.
Clark does not need to play another game until she's completely 100% healthy. If that means she has to miss multiple weeks, so be it, because you don't want to get into the habit of her rushing back from injuries when she's not fully healthy, and we know if one nagging injury can lead to another nagging injury. So the best thing that the Indiana Fever can do, regardless of what Caitlin Clark wants to do, you have to protect your star, your superstar, because she's going to want to get on the court. But until she's 100% healthy, she does not need to play another basketball game for the Indiana.
The numbers tell the story of how Caitlin Clark has been treated in the WNBA. She's been the victim of an unusually high number of flagrant fouls. 17% of all flagrant fouls this season have been against her alone. Even more shocking, 80% of those fouls came from just one team. That's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. The hits have been building since the season began, from Kennedy Carter's blindside body check, to the Chicago Sky's repeated targeting, to the recent eye poke and shove against Connecticut. Clark has taken blows that, in the past, could have ended players' careers. What makes it worse is the lack of real consequences. Marina Mabrey, who slammed into Clark right after she was poked in the eye, got only a technical foul, later changed to a flagrant, but no suspension. No real punishment. Just a fine. And she's still free to keep going after the league's biggest star.
Real talk, a lot of y'all records she coming from. She coming for him. At the end of the day, y'all can't stop nothing, bro. Y'all trying to beat her up and bruise her up and take her out the game and injure her, bro. We know what the motive is, dog. Like, don't nobody like that. I don't vouch for that. I don't like that. You hear me? Y'all not leading. Look, y'all need to get that out y'all heart. Cause that's some deep demonic stuff. The way y'all thinking and how y'all moving and having y'all little meetings and all of that and wanna plot against this woman and her teammates that have her back. Y'all better leave her, Sophie Cunningham.
Caitlin Clark's fans are furious, and they're not staying quiet. Social media is flooded with people saying she should leave the WNBA altogether, claiming the league doesn't deserve her and never did. One fan put it bluntly, "If Caitlin leaves for Europe, I wouldn't blame her. I'd cheer her on. Let the WNBA sink if that's what it takes." That's the growing feeling among thousands who've watched their favorite player get targeted over and over. The numbers prove just how much the WNBA relies on Clark. When she missed games earlier this season, TV ratings dropped by 55%, from 1.81 million viewers to just 847,000. Ticket prices for her games also crashed by 47%. Even worse, Clark is getting technical fouls for being assaulted, while those who hurt her get off with barely a slap on the wrist. The message fans are getting? The WNBA is more focused on keeping veteran players happy than protecting the league's biggest star.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It's just, it really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
What's angering fans even more is how mainstream sports media is handling this. They're quick to celebrate Caitlin Clark's record-breaking numbers and the ratings she brings in, but almost completely silent when it comes to the physical targeting she's endured. The same media that rushed to report on the Caitlin Clark effect has ignored the Caitlin Clark targeting effect. And when veteran players or analysts brush off concerns for her safety by calling it special treatment, it's deeply frustrating. This isn't about favoritism. It's not about race. It's about protecting the stars who carry the sport. Look at Tiger Woods. Golf didn't protect him because he was special. They protected him because he was the game. He brought fans, money, and attention, just like Clark is doing for the WNBA. As one voice said, "I don't know what's going on, but something's not right. We need to look into it, whether it's the league office or veteran players, because this can't keep happening." Stephanie, the thought trails off, but the concern is clear.
But I'm going to keep saying it. Something is going on. I don't know what it is, man, but that's uncalled for. And we can see it. I don't know if we need to look into the committee, with the higher up players, the veteran players. I don't know what we need to look at, but we need to look somewhere because